Hey, what's up guys, Chris here, back in No Man's Sky, and today what I've got for you all is a full guide on glyphs and portals, how to find them, as well as a few neat tricks that will greatly benefit you. This should be helpful both for the newcomers as well as for the veterans out there who got taken away a little bit by some of the changes made with the newest update. So let's dive right in, and of course, if you enjoyed this video, a thumbs up on it would also be super appreciated. Also, a quick reminder of our very own giveaway. There's just a few more days until it's finished, and you can take part in it if you haven't done so already by simply following the link down below. Of course, this was organized in collaboration with Instant Gaming. They are the ones that helped me set him up, so if you want to go ahead and check it out, then follow the link down below, make sure you're signed up on their website, and then simply choose whichever game you want to enter the competition for. Once the giveaway is over, the winner will be contacted via email, and he or she will receive whatever game they have chosen. But yeah, with that being said and done, let's jump right in with everything we have for today. For those who are new here, getting all the 16 glyphs to use the planetary portals is one of the more important achievements you'll want to have in this game. That's because this will let you travel anywhere in your current galaxy, almost unrestricted, as long as you have the appropriate coordinates. You can also visit other players' bases, points of interest, player hubs, or even the center of the galaxy with one single warp. I'm going to begin with the portals, as finding these is what has changed the most in the newest update. In the previous update, you could find portals through the means of signal beacons, which was really easy. You would just feed it some navigation data, ask for coordinates towards a monolith, and from there on you'd be led towards the closest portal. Unfortunately, that was changed with Beyond, as now the option to search for monoliths is pretty much gone from the signal beacon, as that seems to have been repurposed. Instead, we have now two very different methods of finding them. Well, technically one of them is an old method, but here it goes. The newest method involves using the cartographer NPC on the space station. This is your one-stop solution for most of the points of interest in the game, and he can be found on the right side next to the station terminus. To get coordinates to a monolith in the first place, you will need to acquire something called planetary charts from this NPC in exchange either for navigation data or simply nanites. To be more specific, you will need charts that read Ancient Artifact Site under their description, as this is the only one that contains one of the monoliths in the game. The downside is that the charts this NPC sells are random and they also stack, and what this means is that if you get a chart that reads something else other than Ancient Artifact Site, you will need to consume it, otherwise you will continue to get the same type of chart over and over again, and of course, as I was saying, that will not reveal the monolith. But this can also be used to our advantage, as in, once you get a chart that reads what I just told you, as in Ancient Artifact Site, just buy more and stack them until you have at least a handful of these, maybe more just in case. From here on comes the next step, which is using, of course, these charts to reveal the Ancient Artifact Site. The monolith is one of these, but there are more, including of course plaques, ruins, and so on. That is why I recommended buying at least a few of these, just in case you don't discover the monolith on your first try and might require additional entries. This pretty much covers the first and the newest way of getting coordinates, so let's move on to the next. The second method, which is of course also the oldest one, is by using the exocraft. Any of them will work just fine, because what you actually need here is their signal scanner as well as the A-class upgrade. You don't need any of the other upgrades installed, just the A-class, as that is the one that adds monoliths to your list of buildings you can scan for. This is obviously faster and more convenient, but you will need to be pretty far into the main storyline to have unlocked the exocrafts as well as the upgrades for them. In both of these cases, once the monolith is finally revealed, travel to it, as you will need to use it in order to find the portal. The option to search for portals can only be picked if you have the appropriate relic, so this depends of course on the type your system you're in. In the case of GAC systems, you will require a GAC relic, Viking systems will require Viking daggers, and finally Corvax systems will require Corvax casings. Again, another change with the Beyond update is that now you first need to complete a puzzle before you can pick the option to search for the portal. The good news here is that if you get it right, the monolith will more often than not, at least in my case, reward you exactly basically the item that you need in order to activate a portal search option in the first place. If you get it wrong, simply reload your save file right after you exited your ship and pick the other option instead. And also don't forget about the 3 alien wards you can grab from the 3 knowledge stones over there. Once that's done, go ahead and travel to the portal, and once you reach it, you will need to recharge all of the 16 glyph slots with about 25 to 50 of each of the base elements. So do that, and that will activate a portal, and that pretty much concludes the first part of the guide. But now that you know all of that, let's go over the actual glyphs. There are 16 glyphs in the game that you will need to find if you want to travel literally anywhere in the galaxy. You can make do with less, as some of the coordinates might only require a combination of only a few glyphs, but yeah, you will kinda have to get all of them if you want to literally go anywhere. There are 2 main ways you can use in order to get them. The most straightforward one is of course by finishing the entire quest line in No Man's Sky up to a mission called the Purge, which is one of the last ones you will do in this game. Without spoiling anything story related, at one point the game will require you to travel through 16 solar systems, and each jump that you do will give you the next glyph in the sequence up to the maximum of 16. This is by far of course the most time consuming, as the main story is about 50 hours long at least, so there's quite a bit of playing that you need to do before you can get these. The second way, which is way more random and might or might not save you some time, is by asking travelers on space stations about their grave locations. This is basically the option about asking where they came from, and for just 100 nanites they will reveal coordinates towards their graves, which is what contain the glyphs. Once you reach the location, interact with the grave and it will reveal you its glyph after a short dialogue sequence. The glyph will always be the next one in the sequence, starting with the first one, so you never have to worry about missing any of these, so just go ahead and complete these as you get them. Do note that the travelers are random spawns. They can spawn either on space stations or even trading posts, but it is quite rare, so you will have to decide between going straight for the main story or risk and randomly explore until you find 16 travelers. Personally, I kinda recommend mixing these up, so whenever in your journeys you happen to find one of these travelers randomly, go ahead and talk to him and also get his glyphs. Chances are that you'll get at least a few of these by the time you reach the Purge mission, so this will make things a little bit easier. Finally, I also have a couple of tips for you guys to make things a little bit easier and of course to prepare you just in case. First of all, once you reach the other side of the portal, you will encounter a few restrictions. One of them is not being able to immediately build a base, and the second one is not being able to leave the destination system. In this case, you won't even have a computer to build because it doesn't appear in your list, and on the other side, even if you try to leave the system, you can't enter the map because it will display an error message. But to bypass all of this, what you need to do is to travel to the local space station, assuming of course there is one and it wasn't destroyed, and from there on interact with the terminus on it to register that system in your teleporter list. Even though the terminus might be unusable, it is still very useful because it will add the current location, your destination system, into your teleportation list. So once you go back through the portal that you just came from to your first base, you can then use any terminus over there or portal to come back to this system, and you will not have any of the previous restrictions. So yes, you can do that, you can set up a base, you can even exit the system and go to a different one, and all of the restrictions will pretty much be bypassed. This is something of a workaround that has existed ever since Atlas Rises, and it's unfortunate that it still exists to this day, but at the very least you have a few options to bypass it. Finally, also consider building a base near your portal. That is so you always have access to it and don't need to go through all of these hoops just to find and use one in order to get to your destination. So as you can see, I have my base over here. This is something that I had for over a year at this point. Many of you already know of it, many of you have seen it in some of my videos, and you don't even have to build anything around it. Just put down a base computer and let's say another terminus on top, and that is pretty much it. You can even further increase its usefulness, for example, if you find a portal on a planet that is of interest to you. Let's say, for example, that planet is beautiful, it's lush, or it holds a point of interest. In my case, this planet has an exotic yellow ship that I really wanted, so I both settled up a base over here as well as went to the portal because I wanted both the portal access as well as having quick access to this location for that exotic ship. But of course, you can do whatever you want want to. Also, once activated, a portal will stay activated pretty much and won't require recharging, which is an added convenience on top of what I've already told you. But that is all for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now tell me down below if I've missed anything or if you want to see more No Man's Sky guides here on this channel. In the meantime, also don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more and activate the notification bell, and I will see you guys later.